During 2016 I got really into Pokemon, and because of that it also led into me starting to collect Pokemon cards. I got some of the Sun and Moon sets, and I still remember at the time I bought pretty much like the first like Lillie card that came out. During that time also my friends started to play the Pokémon TCG, and therefore I also got kinda into the TCG. I never really played in tournaments or anything, but I still played a lot with my friends together or online. But when the Sun and Moon era came kinda to a close, at least when it comes to the TCG, I also kinda stopped playing the game. But once in a while I still like to buy some singles of some of my favorite cards, like Lillie. With the recent set where Lillie pretty much got her kinda like own deck, I had to get those cards. But by also getting a bunch of the products of like the Journey Together line, I got really nostalgic about the Pokemon TCG again. So I thought, what if I built a deck only out of Lillie cards that I probably never gonna use in a tournament, that I probably also never will play against someone, but at least I have all my favorite cards in one deck. Today I will just take you on the process and will show you how the deck looks like. So I pretty much went to this like online like deck builder like site which is called Pokemon Card IO, and I put some cards in there. I'm like, at least I see some issues with pretty much like the deck, and I thought maybe I could add some like newer cards to the deck that I don't own. But I thought to myself like, okay, am I really gonna go to like card market or something like that and just buy the singles? Which probably either way, I'm like, I know in Pokemon at least, I'm like, I did look some of those cards up. And this example, Arven is one card, which I find actually pretty interesting, actually even a really good card in my opinion. I mean, at least from the knowledge that I currently, I'm like, well, still have from that time when I used to play Pokemon TCG. And honestly, at least the card seems pretty strong. But issue is like, if I order it by someone, it's just one piece, right? Like one copy costs me like around $3 or something like that, and then I also have to pay shipping, so it's already about like, I don't know, like $4 to $5, right? And then at the same time I need more copies of the card. I want to play like 2 copies of the card, and then there are a bunch of other cards that I would like to put into that deck, right? But the issue is obviously not every seller has like all of the cards at the same time, and having to go through all of that is just, yeah, too much of a pain for me. But also like, it's just, you know, as example, I could order like a 5-cent card by one person, right? But then I also have to pay shipping, like over like what, $2 of shipping just for that. And I thought, I'm like, normally, honestly, I would do it normally. But, you know, I thought to myself like, well, because this video is kind of inspired by trainer tips of his like magic channel. I thought to myself, okay, you know what? I just gonna go full budget. I gonna just build the deck with only the cards that I own. So I just probably gonna look through my cards and see if I have some other cards that I can put in there, but also like at the same time just like, yeah, I guess it's also kind of like a challenge for myself, because lately I felt like I've been spending a lot of money on like a couple of stuff, and I'm like, well, I've been doing better now, honestly. I've been doing really well lately when it comes to spending money, but you know, I just don't want to make this as like a excuse. And at the same time, I either way not gonna play in a tournament or anything, so the deck doesn't have to be like crazy good or anything. So yeah, I gonna, I guess, look quickly through my cards if I have like some other like cards that I could use for that deck. like an issue right now where I'm trying to build my deck and I'm almost done, but I am missing psychic energies, which is kind of funny. I don't have enough because I want to play like a certain amount, but funny enough, I found this here, well found. Like I bought this a while ago, a really long time ago, and I never really opened it up. As you can see, it contains psychic energy, so I guess I just quickly gonna open it up, and maybe we might also find some good cards in here that we can include into our deck. Let's open this quickly up like this deck and see if we can maybe get something good out of it. That's awesome, a Gardevoir coin, okay, nice. And then there is the Gardevoir deck. This is what we needed, yes, the energy. Okay, the psychic type energy. Okay, let's see what if we can maybe find some good cards in here. So there were some good cards in here, like the Evolution Incense. Professor's Research, probably the best raw card that exists out there. Beat, actually also not too shabby. And also Sonia. Sonia is actually really good, so yeah, I might consider them. But mostly we got our basic energy, so that's good. Okay, I'm done building the deck. Even sleeved them all up in the Lillie sleeves of the like tournament collection sleeves that I got from the box. And yeah, I guess let's get into the deck and let me explain like some of my choices and I guess what the deck is supposed to be. But just as a disclaimer, at the end of the day, it's just a fun deck, you know, it's not really the most competitive viable deck, but I try to at least build it somewhat competitive viable. First of all, I think the first thing that we have to get into is like the win condition of the deck. Lillie's PP. What this card does is, I mean, like, it has an ability. I personally don't think the ability is like that important in a general sense, but like more specifically, if you fight against like dragon type Pokemon, like your psychic type Pokemon will do more, I mean, like double damage. The second move needs one psychic type energy and one like colorless energy, and pretty much what it does is it does 20 additional damage per Pokemon on the bench of your opponent and your Pokemon. Like technically, let's say you can have 5 Pokemon on your bench, right? If you have a full bench and also like obviously PP active on your field, that means you have 6 Pokemon. That means this Pokemon technically always does 120 damage, and the idea of this deck is also kind of to make your bench full, that like PP can deal the maximum damage, and depending on how many Pokemon your opponent also has on their bench, you're gonna deal even more damage. So in total it could deal like maximum damage it could deal is 220 because it already does like 20 plus. So yeah. So that's pretty much it. Also, cool thing is it just has only one retreat cost, so yeah, it's not very hard to like switch out your Pokemon to the bench, like your PP. So yeah, so we are playing 4 PPs. We are maxing out on PP. You could honestly argue that you probably don't need 4. But I just really wanted to play all the different artworks. That's the reason why I'm also playing all the different artworks. So yeah, let's get to the next Pokemon. So we are playing Cutiefly, I think it's called in English, right? And Ribombee. We are only playing one Cutiefly and one Ribombee. I have to say, Cutiefly having 30 HP is very low and it can get very easily knocked out. But I mean, we'll get to it a bit later again. It's not as bad as it seems, but I only want to play one because for what we need to do, it's enough, because the most important part is just like Ribombee, because it has the ability. In the turn you evolve it, like Cutiefly into Ribombee. you can let your opponent like show you like their hand cards, like the cards in their hand, and then you can just put some basic Pokemon from his hand onto the bench, and you can probably understand where this is going towards. So pretty much it's just a way to like set up more damage for like PPEX, like Lillie's PPEX, right? So that's pretty much what it does. I mean, like, one cool thing about this Pokemon is just it has no retreat cost. So yeah, you don't really have any issues to switch this Pokemon out again, which is really cool. Then we get next to probably the most important card. I mean, like, one of the most important cards in the deck, which is Lillie's Comfy. I am playing 3 of this card because this is actually a card that you kind of want to see, because the second, like, the attack is actually also quite nice. With this attack Ausblended, you can pretty much like do 30 damage to one Pokemon, and then just take this Pokemon with all its like equipped like Pokemon tools, and also like its energy, and just put it all back into your hand. The most important part about this Pokemon, you can just take as many like basic like Lillie Pokemon from your deck and just put it onto your bench. And that's also the reason why we only play one like one Cutiefly and one Ribombee. With this card, obviously we have access to like both of them, to PP and Comfy. And that's also the reason why I say technically you don't really have to like play like PP at 4. It's a Lillie deck, of course. So I think you want to at least play 2 PPs, but I think 2 to 3 is probably around fine. You don't really need to play 4, but yeah, really good card. I really like this Comfy. Can't say the same though about the new Knight. I kinda skipped it ahead, I just realized, but let's get to our other win condition, I guess, which is Solgaleo and Lunala GX, like a tag team. We are playing 2 of them. I just want to also feature with this deck a bit like all of kinda like Lillie, I guess, you know. I kinda want to feature all the history of Lillie in the Pokémon TCG at least, right? What it does is 230 damage for like 3 psychic type energy and 1 colorless energy, and you can't use the first move then in the next turn anymore, so you have to wait another turn. And the second move is a GX attack. If you activated Lillie's full force in that turn, when you use this move, like, besides it doing 200 like damage, in the next turn it also prevents all the damage that your Pokemon take. I mean, it also prevents effects, so I think like also like burn and poison and that stuff were like confused, and those like states that exist in the TCG. I don't fully remember them, but yeah. If I want to really build like a actual competitive viable deck, I wouldn't play this card at all, because yeah, it's not as good. But for the sake of it being a Lillie deck, we obviously gonna play it. V3 costs R2, which kinda sucks to be honest, but yeah. Also, you take free prize cards. I mean, your opponent takes free prize cards if they knock it out, so you have to be really careful. But we're gonna get into that a bit later. Some decisions I made for this deck because of this card. Let's get to the next couple of Pokemon. 2 Cosmog. So this is from the Pokemon Celebrations, and I really like this line because it features Lillie, and it's very adorable. It's like with Hoshigumo, Neddy, I guess, in English. Pretty much just prevents damage to Cosmog by throwing like a coin. I mean, if you hit like heads, it prevents damage. But yeah, I'm not really the biggest fan of coin moves, to be completely honest. Play also 2 Cosmo, exactly the same move. This one has 3 retreat costs, so which honestly can be very dangerous, not gonna lie. Very nice art again, like I really like the art on these ones. Then we play 1 Lunala. Lunala is decent enough, the normal Lunala, because for double colorless energy. Let's say I'm like, unfortunately in this deck I don't own any double colorless like special energy, which kind of sucks, because otherwise I would have definitely played it in my deck. But yeah, for double colorless energy you can pretty much double the damage counters that are already on the Pokemon of your opponent. We have Psychic Shot, does 130 damage, and then it also does 30 damage to one of the opponent's like Pokemon on the bench. I think the first move is more relevant in my opinion, but yeah. Then we are playing Solgaleo. Also, by the way, the arts are amazing, I really like it. It's awesome. This ability is actually pretty cool, because if this Pokemon is on your bench, you can switch it out as your active Pokemon, so you can just get in Solgaleo immediately without even paying retreat costs or anything. Then his second like move, it just does 100 damage for 2 colorless energy. This move I think is even much better than Lunala's, because you can like attach those 2 basic energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon on the bench. Then we have Lunala GX. We don't really care for like the moves. We are only here for like the ability, and the ability is Psychic Transfer. You can just switch around one basic psychic energy to another Pokemon. As example, you could also just transfer like a basic energy to Lunala, besides like attaching one to Lunala for the turn, right? Okay, I'm actually looking it up right now, like the other moves, but I realized the ability is even crazier than I actually thought, because you can move around as many times as you want, like psychic energies on Pokemon. That's pretty crazy. So yeah, as you can see, definitely there is a reason why we play Lunala GX. And the second move for 120 damage and 4 psychic energy. So pretty much what it does is the defending Pokemon can't get healed in the next turn. Wow, the GX is actually kind of crazy, because you can make a basic Pokemon of your opponent unable to battle anymore, so you can pretty much knock them out. To the Cosmog part of this deck, to be completely honest, like this part here, like all of this here, it does take a lot of space, and I think that's also why we didn't have enough space anymore for like other like good cards. I mean, you will see it a bit later. Our last Pokemon in the deck is Tapu Lele GX. Tapu Lele is, during the time when I still played like the TCG, actually I remember this card was insane. Like, it is ridiculously good, because it has, I'm like, first of all, it's a basic Pokemon that makes it already really good. Then also it has only 1 retreat cost, and then it has the move like Energy Drive for double colorless energy, so you can use a special double colorless energy again, which is really good. So only you have to attach pretty much 1 card to it. It does 20 damage for every like energy that is like attached to this Pokemon and your like opponent's active Pokemon. So sometimes you can even get a crazy amount of damage out with it, but yeah. Then there is also Tapu Cure GX, which lets you heal 2 of your Pokemon, which is also actually a really good like GX move. It's your bench Pokemon though. Overall, already this card is really good, but the ability is pretty much like the most important part about this card, because so if you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you can search for any supporter card in your deck, like any, and then yeah, just add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. I still remember at the time when I played, like, this card is just a staple. You pretty much played it almost in like every deck, so yeah. Then let's get to the actual like most important card in the deck, the Lillie supporter card. Lillie, just Lillie. And this Lillie is one of literally my first ever cards. I mean, yeah, I think this is literally my first ever card that I bought actually, because I really wanted it. And I mean, at the time this card used to be much cheaper, but nowadays they spiked like crazy. But pretty much what Lillie does is you can draw until you have 6 cards in your hand, but if it's your first turn, and you play this card, you can draw up until 8 cards. You know, it makes it cool if one of your favorite cards is also somewhat good. I mean, of course, there are much better draw cards, but you know, Lillie shouldn't be underestimated. I mean, she's still really good card actually. And then we have also like the one from the Japanese, like I mean not Japanese but the Chinese, like Lillie box again from the Holy Grail that we have here. We only play 2. I thought about playing 4, but to be honest, I think that's just too overkill. I think 2 is the perfect amount in my opinion. But yeah, then we play Lillie's Full Force, Lillie's Ganze Kraft. Pretty much what it does is it lets you draw 4 cards, and it has this little side effect to it. At the end of the turn, 3 or more cards in your hand, you have to like discard until you only have 2. So yeah, if you want to play actual competitive viable deck, probably I wouldn't even play her, but of course we're gonna play her. And also Lillie's Full Force is here for Solgaleo and Lunala GX tacting, because then we can also use the GX like move. As Lillie's Full Force says, yeah, the moment you use this card, you can also use the full potential of Solgaleo and Lunala. Really cool that they actually made it kind of like that. That's actually, yeah. The other supporter cards that we play besides the Lillie cards, I guess. Research of the Professor. So Research of the Professor is actually probably like the I think it is actually really the best drawing card in the game. You discard your hand and then you just draw until you have you just draw 7 cards. 7 cards is a lot, so it's pretty crazy. Technically I think you would even play 4, but because we play Lillie, of course we only play 2. Then we play like 1 copy of Sonia. Sonia is just here to get us 2 basic Pokemon or 2 basic energy, and I personally really like the idea of this card. I do find this card really good. With this card you have pretty much the option, you can choose, okay, do I need the Pokemon now more, or do I need the basic energy more? And yeah, depending on that, it's just a really good card. And I think one issue that the deck struggles with is definitely like the energy, getting to the energy. And we are playing 3 Lola. Okay, now Lola, really good card. You can pretty much like take 1 Pokemon that has like at least 1 damage counter on it, and then you can just put that Pokemon and all of its attached card back into your hand. I don't really want to get Solgaleo and Lunala GX knocked out, right? Because otherwise our opponent can like draw into 3 prize cards. And that is pretty much the reason why I play 3 Lola. It's Acerola. In English, in German it's Lola, yeah. I'm maxing out on this card. It's also just a really good card, like in general, even without like the GX Pokemon and stuff, you can still use it on your other Pokemon, so yeah. Then we play 2 Bromley. This is one of the ways how we can like switch out the Pokemon of our opponent. So pretty much it just switches 1 Pokemon of your opponent that is on the bench to the active spot, and then you can also do that same exactly for you. We have space issues, so therefore we only play 2. Bromley, it's Guzma. Yeah, it's his German name, so yeah, sorry about that. It's Guzma, yeah, in English. Then to the item cards that we play, at least the Lillie item cards, we are playing Lillie's Pokédoll. So this card is not that great, because you just play it as a Pokemon. You can put it as, for example, your active Pokemon, or like your on your bench, and then it just has 30 like HP. And if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, right, you can just discard like all of the cards from it, and then just put it under your deck again. And if this card gets knocked out, your opponent doesn't take any prize card, so it's pretty much like kind of like a substitute doll. That's pretty much the idea of Lillie's Pokédoll. So you can pretty much try to like tank in like tank some attacks, you know. Unfortunate part about this card is you can't retreat with it, so you have to be careful when to switch it in. But also more so now that kind of there's like this strategy to like get as much Pokemon onto your bench, this card actually becomes somewhat okay. I mean, honestly, you could play this card at 4 because then you could just fill up your bench with Lillie Pokédoll, and your opponent, every time if he knocks out the Lillie Pokédoll, he's just not gonna take any prize cards. So it's actually cool. So in a way, it has a function in the deck. So it's not like completely useless or anything at all. So kind of glad about that, and I am happy that I can kind of use the Lillie Pokédoll finally. And next we have Lillie's Pearl. You can attach it to a Lillie Pokemon. When the Lillie Pokemon gets knocked out, your opponent takes 1 prize card less. So pretty much, if your like PBEX gets knocked out, your opponent takes only 1 prize card, like as it was just like a normal Pokemon, not the EX Pokemon, which makes it really insane. We get to the other item cards that we play in this deck. So first of all, kind of to the cards, to like the search cards, I guess, in the deck. So we are playing like 3 Nest Ball. Nest Ball is actually a really good item, a really awesome item, because with that you can just search for a basic Pokemon in your deck. And put it onto your bench. So it's very simple, but also really good because it is item card. And we max out on this because with this we can search Lillie's PPEX. We mostly search Comfy. Comfy is the important one that we want to like get off with this. But also we can search out Cosmo, which is also I guess a different win condition that we have. We can of course also search our like Solgaleo and Lunala GX tag team even, which is crazy. So yeah. Then there's also Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball can search out any Pokemon. It can literally search out any Pokemon, but you have to discard 2 cards for it from your hand. It seems like maybe a bit crazy to like having to discard 2 cards, but honestly in this deck we have really a lot of Pokemon. I think it's 19 or like even 20, I think it's 19. But yeah, with the amount of like Pokemon cards, like the many Pokemon cards that we have, we are never gonna use all of them. So, and I'm like at some point our hands is gonna get clogged up, especially if we also draw with cards like the Professor's Research 7. So we're gonna have a lot of cards in our hand, right? And some of them are not gonna be usable, so discarding 2, honestly, it seems kind of bad, but it really isn't. Ultra Ball also really good, and because it can search any Pokemon, we can also search our Cosmoem with it, and like our Lunala and Solgaleo, or like second stage Pokemon. This card is just really important in the deck. Then we have Energy Spinner. So as I said before, we kind of have this issue in this deck that we have a bit of a problem to like search like energy, I guess. You pretty much search a basic energy card with it. It's pretty simple. So these kinda, you can say this is another basic psychic energy, and this is also another basic psychic energy. That's what it's pretty much it. And I guess it's also a good way, because you can pretty much also thin out your deck a bit. Honestly, I might consider even playing 4, because just for the thinning out aspect, playing 4 might even be kind of the strat, and then just cut some basic psychic energies, of course. I might actually do that, so yeah. It has also a second like ability. If you go second and it's your first turn, you can even search up to 3 basic energy cards. So if you get that off, then that's also pretty crazy. But most of the times it's not really gonna happen. So another card that we play is Super Rod, I guess it's called in English. So this card is just here. I think also a bit of an issue that we maybe have in this deck, and is that we can't recycle as much. So this is at least one card that we have with that we can recycle some of our cards. With this we can just choose up to like 3 like Pokemon or like basic energies, up to like 3 basic Pokemon and basic energy, so you pretty much have to have like a certain combination between those. But it just so in total you can just shuffle back 3 cards from your discard pile into your deck and then just shuffle it. So it's just a way to recycle your cards, right? And then we have another card which is Counter Catcher. This is our like second card, I guess, to disrupt our opponent. You can only play this card if you have more prize cards than your opponent. And pretty much what you do is you can just switch one of the opponent's like bench Pokemon as active Pokemon into play. You need to fulfill first the condition before you can even activate it, but it's a really good card. So we play 12 Psychic basic type energy cards. So yeah, we are playing a lot of like basic type energy cards. We just really need it. We are playing so many Pokemon in our deck. We are playing 19 to 20 Pokemon, I think, because we kind of struggle with like getting the energy and playing so many, like 14. Normally I think in like decks that are able to search out very easily like their energy and attach them to your Pokemon, you even play much less. There were 2 cards that I also kind of considered. Was like Ninetales GX. Like first of all, in the anime, Lillie has Vulpix. I mean, this is also a card that I kind of considered for the deck, because in the anime, Lillie has Vulpix. That's her partner Pokemon, and I thought I kind of really also wanted to get in that Pokemon, like a Alola Vulpix, but the issue is just you have to play Water type energy, and also like, well, this Pokemon is just so focused on Wii, it's kind of really bad in that sense. So therefore, and also because we have to play Water type energy, I didn't really want to play it. And with this card, it's just, the issue is just it's a fairy type Pokemon. The ability makes it really good, so, and that's the reason why I really wanted to play it, because with this card you can search your deck for up to 2 item cards. I also thought about playing the like Solgaleo GX from like the Chinese set that I got from. Solgaleo's ability is just what's important here, is pretty much you can like switch one of your bench Pokemon as an active Pokemon. That's just his ability. My main issue was just retreat cost is free, and it just needs steel. I mean, it needs also some steel type energy, and I'm not really willing to play steel type energy just for Solgaleo solely, because the other Solgaleo doesn't even need steel type energy. One of the reasons why I also play Isarola is just to pretty much retreat your Pokemon. It's not only to like get your GX Pokemon out of like a bad situation, but to also like just retreat it in a way, right? So you can, as example, also like retreat a card that is really only there for its ability, right? Like Solgaleo, and then just put it back into your hands with all the attached cards to it, so which is really nice. I'm like gonna think about Solgaleo still. I might include it, honestly. It would be kind of cool to have both like GX versions in there, and I mean it is fitting because it is from the Lillie set, because it has even like the 4 out of 5. There were only 5 cards, and that was pretty much the Lillie deck profile. Honestly, really cool that I was able to like make like a full-on Lillie deck, going through all the cards and like just trying to figure out how I can make a somewhat like functionable strategy. You know, of course, it is at the end of the day a fun deck. Really happy that I also was able to kind of build a full-on Lillie deck with all the Lillie cards that I like collected throughout like the years, because I've been just collecting all these Lillie cards, like starting from like this like from this like Lillie card here. If it would actually like zoom from this Lillie card here, everything kind of started, and now we have a full-on Lillie deck. Honestly, I kind of hope they don't print more Lillie cards, because otherwise the space is gonna be even more tight. After building this deck, I have to say, like, I got really excited about the TCG again. I really love just the deck building process, and honestly I feel like I might try to even build like my Sceptile like GX deck again, or like some kind of Greninja like GX deck again. That might be a fun idea maybe. So yeah, if you were ever interested again in seeing something like this, building a deck or something like that, then yeah, just let me know, and I might do one of these videos again. But yeah, that was my Lillie deck, only mostly only out of Lillie cards, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. I guess that's it. Stay safe, guys. See ya.